Hello everyone, and welcome back to WolfQuest, The Lost Tales, and you guys love to give me difficult challenges. Oh my goodness. So, we're gonna go ahead and hit begin quest, and we're gonna be playing on Bring It On again, because you guys have picked Fergus, the son of Night, and for better or for worse, here we go. We're gonna try and beat the game on Bring It On one more time. It's gonna be difficult, it's gonna be crazy. I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna be able to do it or not, but we're gonna do our best. And we're gonna just charge right into the world. But first of all, let me give you a little bit of a look here so that you can see what Fergus looks like. Oh, as he grooms himself and doesn't show off his coat. He has this nice reddish dark coat. And he's a fairly strong wolf. He has 35% strength, which is generally pretty high as far as our wolves have. We tend to have very speed-oriented wolves, and then he has 60% stamina and 55% speed. So we are playing on Bring It On. If I go here, you can see it's on Bring It On. So we're gonna do our best, and hopefully this works out. I'm a little concerned. I don't really know. Oops, as we crash into the sagebrush. I don't really know how this is gonna go, you guys. Bring It On is always a little bit of a catastrophe, and so we're gonna do the best we can and hope we make it through. So we'll go ahead, we'll chase down this elk, and then we'll probably do quite a bit of hunting here, and try to get headed off to Slough Creek by the end of the episode, because we have to try and find a mate and raise pups, and if we can do that successfully, then we will get a difficulty-based perk. Now, the release of WolfQuest 3 is fast approaching, we hope. Again, at this point, we still have no announced information, at least at the time that I'm recording this, except that the team is hoping to have it out by the end of the year. But with that in mind, this is all going to be pre-recorded, so I will be taking your suggestions, and I do read all your comments, but do keep in mind with that if something goes wrong, if I'm not doing something right, I may not be able to respond, and I won't be able to respond in the game. I won't be able to change what I'm doing here, so just keep that in mind. I will read your feedback, I will read your comments, but I may not be able to do anything about it depending on when I receive them and when this ends up going up. I'm currently trying to pre-record as much as possible because of the WolfQuest beta testing period. If they're planning on having it out by the end of the year, then of course it's coming up. And we have to do all that testing before the game gets to release, and so with that in mind, that's something that I definitely want to be able to do and not have to worry about it having conflicts with the current game. So that's why I'm pre-recording all of this right now, so that when we get to the point of doing the beta testing, whenever that may be, I don't know, whenever that ends up being relative to when this airs, I'm doing all this pre-recording so that we have the chance to continue on with this series, and you guys don't just not have WolfQuest anymore through that period of time. And also keep in mind with that if the beta period does start, because I mean, we've got 1 month left in the year, so I expect it'll probably start fairly soon, assuming they don't push back the release. Whenever that does start, though, do keep in mind that I'm not allowed to release spoilers or anything. Anything I end up saying is going to be by direct permission, and so please don't ask for spoilers. Anything that I'm allowed to say will be specially announced and probably done through WolfQuest and not here on my channel. So just keep in mind that I'm not allowed to spoil things about the game without permission. So, but with that said, Fergus has a difficult challenge. He's not the first wolf to take this on, but that doesn't make it any less difficult. Bring It On is always a little bit scary. There's a reason that I don't typically play on Bring It On. Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit worried about this challenge because we don't want to start racking up penalties for ourselves, unless we don't want to rack up penalties here. We don't want to have that problem. We don't want to hinder ourselves for the next series. Sorry, my words are not happening today. But we don't want to start accumulating penalties for the next series that are going to cause us more problems than they are going to do any good. And so I'm definitely a little bit worried here. Fergus definitely knows about having a hard life. He grew up with Night, and Night had a pretty hard life himself. And so he definitely knows about hardship, and I feel he's probably pretty prepared to face it. But nevertheless, that doesn't mean that things couldn't go wrong. Ow. Just like that. Hey, things are already going wrong. Hopefully this isn't a sign of bad luck to come. Oh man, that would not be good. But yeah, so the other thing is, as I'm releasing these, I know a lot of you guys have been making comments at the time that I'm recording this, at least, about how some of the wolves haven't gotten their stories yet. Don't worry, we're not skipping wolves at this point. We're not going to skip over anyone. There might be something you guys notice that's a little bit interesting with some of the coming challenges, but don't worry, I do have a plan. Things are going to look a little bit weird in the future here for just a little bit. If you've got your eyes open, you've been watching the polls, and are keeping up with what wolves are in the lead, something might look a little bit strange to you for a little bit in the near future, but don't worry, I have a plan, and you guys will have to trust me to know what I'm doing here. Sometimes I do have to do little things like this, and I can't always explain them right away, but not to worry, I do have a plan with this, and I think you guys will like the results. Oops, that's not the elk that's gonna run. Where's the one? There we go. But yeah, so don't worry, we're not skipping over wolves. What's happening is that the polls are just running very far ahead of the episodes you guys are seeing. So, for example, I've released probably 5 polls over the past 2 weeks here. I think, something like that. And the reason for that is I'm actually recording all of this ahead of time, and so I'm recording it basically as the polls end, but we're still airing the episodes at a regular rate, and so you guys aren't seeing them. So just because I'm running another poll doesn't mean that I've forgotten about the wolves that are from the previous polls. They're still going to get their stories, it's just going to be spaced out more over the month of December. The reason, and however long it takes to release WolfQuest 3, basically. The reason I'm running the polls so ahead of time is because I'm actually recording all of this right now so that I can have these episodes ready to go up on schedule as we get into the beta testing period. And the reason that I want to make sure that I do that is because I don't know if there's going to be any conflicts between WolfQuest 3 and WolfQuest 2.7. We noticed a few weird things when we played WolfQuest 2.5, and I think it might have been due to the different versions of the game interacting with each other. For example, we were able to bite hold, but unless I'm greatly mistaken, that was never in the 2.5 version of the game. And so the only explanation I have for that, unless that was something they added and I didn't realize it, the only explanation I have for that is that the games themselves were interacting a little bit, and somehow WolfQuest 2.5 was reading code from WolfQuest 2.7. So in the event that something like that would happen with WolfQuest 3, I don't want it just to be an issue where, oh, it's raining. That's why it looks weird. It's actually raining. But if something like that were to happen with WolfQuest 3, I wouldn't want it to be an issue where I'd have to be uninstalling the game just to play it or whatever. And I obviously can't go back and forth uninstalling and reinstalling different versions of the game. And so with that in mind, I don't want it just to be a situation where it's like, well, beta has started and now I can't record anymore because WolfQuest 2.7 stopped working or something like that. That's why I have to do all the pre-recording now and get that out of the way so that in the event that something like that did happen, there wouldn't be a problem. Now, with that said, I'm hoping the different versions of the game will be compatible. I would love to have the chance to go back and mess around here and do some side stories, sort of like how we jumped back to 2.5 that once. I have a feeling that it might be kind of fun to do that at some point in the future after WolfQuest 3 has been out for a while, but we'll see. We'll see how it all works out in the end. And I do have a feeling that we'll be spending the vast majority of our time in WolfQuest 3 for the foreseeable future. I get daily comments asking me if I'm excited about WolfQuest 3, and the answer is always yes, yes, yes. I am pumped to play this. It looks amazing. From everything we've seen, it's going to be absolutely incredible. And I cannot wait to get my hands on it and try it out for myself here. So where are we at experience-wise? We want to... That's just the elk, right? I don't think that's a moose. It might be a moose. Okay, we need to kill 3 more elk here, and then we should be good to go and be able to find a mate. Now, I am kind of rushing through this, and the reason being is that we can't really wait around here. We have to find a mate and move on very, very quickly because we only have 4 episodes to do this, and if we're playing on Bring It On, we're going to need every moment of the next 3 episodes to be able to raise our pups. That's another thing that I do want to talk about, is currently the format for WolfQuest Lost Tales has been that we will play 4 episodes per wolf. Now, when WolfQuest 3 releases, we are going to be starting to play Lost Tales in WolfQuest 3, and we'll be continuing to do that until the Slough Creek version of WolfQuest 3 releases, because for the time being, they've said that they are not going to release the Slough Creek version with the first update because it was taking too long to develop. They're going to be releasing Amethyst Mountain beforehand, and then they'll produce Slough Creek and release that later on sometime next year. And with that in mind, they wanted to get Amethyst Mountain out sooner so that we could start playing around with it and not have to wait another 6 months to a year to be able just to play the game at all. They wanted to get out some content now so that that we could actually start playing it, and then the game will be early access until Slough Creek releases, I believe, is what they've said. And so that's the current plan for their release. Well, we're going to be continuing to play Lost Tales until we can actually start to play Slough Creek. Or I should amend that statement, actually. Once we know that Slough Creek's release is imminent, then we will start the next season, and the Lost Tales will conclude. So we've got a while to go with Lost Tales, but we're not going to be playing 2.7 for much longer. We're going to transfer Lost Tales right into WolfQuest 3, completely change all the challenges we have, and we will start to see the different wolves that we've had here. They'll get new challenges, new chances, new things to do in the new version of the game, and so we'll get to explore the game with them. Now, I've said before, we're going to start out with some simpler challenges, and so what I'll probably end up doing is kind of, I guess, what I'll probably end up doing is, until we start getting the feel for something, I'm gonna lock the game to having, or not lock the game, but lock the rounds to having only certain wolves with slightly simpler challenges in them. And so we'll kind of cut down on the pool that we have and not unlock the more difficult challenges until we've played a few of the simpler ones. And that's when I'll start introducing wolves in the pool. Most likely, I'll start reintroducing different wolves back into the pool. Again, it'll all still be a random process. I'll be choosing which wolves we have randomly based off of which wolves from each lineage are available. But I'll probably restrict it to a pool of only a few to start off with, because we want to get some of those challenges. Like, we want to make sure we don't ramp up the difficulty for ourselves too much right away, and we want to make sure that we're choosing challenges that are actually possible to start off with. So there's the elk we were chasing. There we go. That probably may not make sense as I'm explaining it here, but when you see it in action, it'll make a little bit more sense. But the other thing that I'm not sure about is what sort of a playtime we're looking at for the Amethyst Mountain mission. Right now, we can easily complete the Find a Mate quest here on Amethyst Mountain within one episode. It takes us about 20 minutes to be able to hunt down enough elk to gain experience to find a mate. So we can easily complete that right away, and so a lot of our Amethyst Mountain missions have something extra that we have to do while we're here, because finding a mate doesn't take that long. But we know that the courtship gameplay is going to be completely updated. They've shown some of it in the video. Maybe by now they've shown more of it. I know they said at the end of that first video that there is going to be another part to it, and we have seen nothing of that at the time that I'm recording this. So I don't know if we'll get to see that more or not, or if they'll keep that a surprise until the game releases. But regardless, we know that the mission is going to be substantially more involved. And with that in mind, we don't know how long it's going to take. And so, with that said, we might end up changing the length of each side story. And I don't know whether that means we have 5 episodes instead of 4. I don't know if that means that we have 8 episodes. I don't know what that's going to look like. But however it ends up looking, we are going to be potentially adapting that length to suit the needs of the stories that we want to tell. And we won't really know how long that's going to take until we've had the chance to run around in the game a little bit. So be prepared for some potential length changes. Perhaps we'll start seeing stories that take 2 weeks to tell instead of just 1. Be prepared for there to be some adjustments that are made in the process of transferring over like this. So just be ready for that kind of thing to come into play. Oh, we do have enough experience now, so we always head up to this territory to find a mate. we're gonna head out this way or to Druid territory, I think, because I want to break the mold. I want to change the norm. We should have hunted over here, though. I guess that's why we tend to do it over here, is because this is where we go hunting, and so then that territory is convenient. And maybe we'll stop by Druid territory and see if there are any other dispersals that have wandered by to look for a mate there, too. But yeah, so be prepared for there to be some changes with that sort of thing when we are adjusting to the new gameplay, because we really don't know what it's going to entail, and we won't know what it's going to entail until we actually get into the game and we've played around a little bit more. So be prepared for there to be some potential bumps in the road as we transition over to that and try and complete that. Now, I don't expect that in Lost Tales we'll really be seeing any side stories in 2.7 after we complete this, but what may happen is that in the future we do further side stories. We might do another season of Lost Tales at some point to kind of fill in the gaps. You guys really seem to love WolfQuest, which is great because I love playing it, and so probably what will happen is that we'll start to have different seasons, I guess. And so what may end up happening, depending, because it sounds to me, the impression I've gotten from the videos that we've seen and the information that WolfQuest has released, is that WolfQuest 3 is going to be substantially longer than the current game. Oh, we got a little lucky here, and we've actually found a dispersal female right away. Wow, okay then. She definitely looks like she's from this pack, potentially, because she has some of the coloration, I think, and it doesn't, well, I think so, yeah. They have some of that coloration in this pack, right? I think it doesn't look like she has mange. I can't see any on her, so she's probably alright, and I kind of like her. It's interesting because they're both very dark colored wolves, but they have completely different coat base colors. So Fergus has a very reddish coat, whereas she's got almost more of a blue tint to it, like a kind of a steel gray in some ways. So I like her, though. I think we'll go ahead and take her as our mate. So we'll go ahead, not jump in with let's start a pack. I think that might scare her off. I can see Fergus getting a little over-eager. Fergus is a pretty tough wolf, but he actually doesn't really like fighting. I feel like he would rather avoid a fight if he can, but at the same time, he's definitely a fierce fighter when he has to be. So he doesn't go out of his way to pick a fight, but he will stand his ground if he needs to. So we'll go ahead and claim her as our mate here, and then we'll get these two ready to head off to Slough Creek. And then, what was I talking about here? Oh, I was talking about season lengths. So what may end up happening here, I'll pause to talk about that a little bit as we head off to the creek area and get ready to go. But first of all, let's go ahead and we'll actually name her here. I have a name picked out again, and her name is Honora. I'm spelling that right, which, as some of you guys may have guessed, means honor. So we'll go ahead and send these two off to the creek area, and next time we'll be starting in and we'll do our winter hunting, and I'm going to montage it because it's Bring It On and we just do not have time for that. But, so what I was saying about the season lengths is, since it does sound like WolfQuest 3 is going to be substantially longer, and since after Slough Creek, I believe the plan is to continue on with production for Towerfall, which we'll hopefully get to experience, maybe, depending on how things work, with our Season 5 wolves. We'll see, depending on how that works out. But what I was saying is that we might end up running our seasons a little bit differently. So, okay, we'll stay here for now. So currently what we do, we can sniff around this area. Currently what we do is we actually end up having about 20 episodes, 20-some episodes in season in which we play through the game like 4 times. And I get the sense that that's not going to be possible anymore. The impression I'm getting is that, maybe we'll go up here and hunt a little bit, but the impression I'm getting is that the game's going to take so much longer to play through that that's not going to be possible anymore, especially when we have 2 packs. So what will probably end up happening is that each pack will kind of split off into their own series and might even get separate seasons. And if not, each pack will get its own season, will actually air their stories separately, and depending on how those stories air or might alternate airing, We may even see these packs end up reaching the Tower Fall release by the time we're done, just because there's so much content to play through here. So that's kind of what I was trying to say, is we might be changing the entire layout of the seasons in the game. Oh my goodness, be careful on her. Oh man, she's really getting whacked by the rest of the herd there. Oh my goodness! No, get out of the herd! You're getting hurt! That doesn't bode well. She might be a little young and inexperienced. But yeah, so we might see each pack start to get its own season, or even multiple seasons, depending on how long it takes to play through the game. It could be that each litter will take so long to play through that it'll be its own season. It just depends completely on how all of that works out, and depending on how long it does take to play through the game, and to get through all the different seasons we're going to be seeing with our different packs, that might actually impact how long we end up playing through it, and it might even carry us all the way to the Towerfall release. We just don't know. But whatever the case is, we might end up filling some time there with more Lost Tales if it looks like we're going to end up, seeing the Towerfall release come out within a short period of time after Season 5 finishes, and all the wolves that are involved in Season 5 finish having their stories. So again, that's really far future. It's too far out to tell just yet, but I want to prepare you guys for the idea that we may see some changes on the horizon in the way that we tell our stories. So be prepared for that. But with that said, it's about time to wrap up the episode. We're going to be sending these guys off to Slough Creek next time, and hopefully they can do well there, just like Fergus has been able to do pretty well here on the mountain. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay, over and out.